Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to draft a bra pattern. So if you are a beginner and you've never really drafted a bra before, this tutorial is definitely for you. But before we get started guys, please do not forget to give this tutorial a good thumbs up and also subscribe. So guys, let's not waste any time and get started. Okay guys, before we start drafting our pattern, we need to find the accurate bust measurement. Then after that, we take that bust circumference and divide it into 4. Then create a square. My quarter of my bust round circumference is 9 inches, so I've created a square of 9 by 9 inches. So the next thing, we're going to divide this square into 4 equal parts. Now, once we are done, right at the bottom, I am going to mark 1 inch mark. So first of all, let me just highlight my lines. This line is going to be the underbust, the side, the top, and also the center front. So right at the bottom, which is the underbust, I've already marked 1 inch on both sides from the center line, and I'm going to create a dot. Now, once we're done doing so, going to the top, I am going to mark 1.5 inch down. This is where my upper cup is going to start. So now on that point, I'm going to mark 1 inch on one side and 1 inch onto the other side. So next to that 1 inch mark, I'm also going to mark 1/2 inch just to create an armhole. But before I create an armhole, on the side, I'm going to drop by 1/2 inch, and this is where my armhole is going to start. So I'm just going to use my curve ruler to connect the 2 points. And over here on top, you just want to close these 2 points with a straight line. And then create a dot for the top upper cup. Okay guys, so right on the center front, I'm going to create the neck depth. So I'm going to drop by 1.5 inch or even 1 inch. That's definitely up to you how low you want your bra to be on the neckline. So right on the corners, I'm going to go out or go in by 1 inch, and this is to later on create the frame of the bra. So I'm going to go in by 1 inch and just create a curved line on both sides. Now the next thing is to create the cradle or the frame of the bra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out by 1 centimeter and then drop the line all the way to the underbust line. So now we're going to be creating a style line on the cups to separate the upper cup with the lower cup. So on the center front line, I'm going to mark 1 inch, and that point I am going to connect it all the way to the bust point line. So as shown on the screen, I'm connecting the 2 points, and also on the side, I will also mark down 1 inch and then connect it to the bust point line. So guys, once we are done doing this, don't forget to label your pattern. The one on top is going to be the upper cup, and the one at the bottom is going to be the lower cup. And then the next thing is to create the band for our bra. So in order to create the band, we need to take 1/4 of our bust round circumference, and then we're going to subtract 1 inch. The reason why we're subtracting 1 inch is because the band is going to be cut on a stretch material. So in my case, the length of the band is going to be 8 inches, and then the width is going to be 1 inch. So you want to connect that point all the way to the armhole. So another thing, guys, I want to separate the frame or the cradle of the bra from the band. So right on the side, I'm going to mark 1 inch, and then to separate the band and the cradle of the bra. Now the next thing, I'm going to create an elastic casing right on the underbust, and the width of my elastic casing is going to be 1 inch. So moving back to our band, guys, because we're going to be adding a hook and eye, we need to subtract at least 1 inch from our band, of which is later on going to be replaced by the hook and eye when we attach it onto the band. So let's go ahead now and remove 1 inch from the band. So guys, as for the cradle or the frame is going to be cut on fold. So please make sure when you cut out the pattern, take note of that. So guys, once we are done cutting our upper cup and the lower cup, I just want to go ahead and smoothen out the curve so that it's not too pointed on our bra, so it's best to go ahead and smooth out the curve and then cut the excess piece. So now we need to separate the frame from the band, and also guys, cut out that 1 inch for the hook and eye. Now guys, remember that our frame had the dot in the middle, so we need to go ahead and close down that dot as shown on the screen. So go ahead and close that dot, tape it down, and then the next thing, we need to add seam allowance around our pattern. So guys, I went ahead and I added seam allowance on the band on the side, even on top except the bottom, inside the cradle also, even on the side, so that we'll be able to join them together later on when we sew. I went ahead, guys, and I added 0.5 seam allowance. I use centimeters normally when I add seam allowance because we don't need too much seam allowance onto our bra. So guys, stay tuned for part 2, whereby I'm going to share with you how to sew this bra. As for me, guys, see you on the next one.